Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 50, a big one of Couch Crunchers, where we are making some changes in a good way. So, my stinking majigger, gosh dang it, the live stream started up. Oh my goodness, STS Guys is already chatting with us. You guys rock, you're always here. STS Guys is awesome. Anyway, we're making some changes this week. We have Tyler on. And who else do we got over there?
Hi.
Lance.
How's it going?
Oh, it is going swell, my friend. It is going swell. What the heck? Where'd the chat go? Oh, there it is. I suck at this. Hi, STS Guys. So, first off, let me just say, Tyler is now an official member of the podcast. He's no longer a guest. He, Lance, and I are going to be heading this thing up together, and we're super excited to have you. If you've been listening to the show, you've heard Tyler several times. I think he's been on 3, 4, maybe even 5 times now, and he is being upgraded from Peon to Peon 2.
A little green mushroom.
Peon 2 to Peon 2?
No, Peon 1 to Peon 2. You and I, Lance, are Peon 2.5.
2.5.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, anyway, we're excited to be doing another show for you guys. Another quick announcement. We are kind of, I don't want to say rebranding, but we're kind of changing up the show a little bit. It's not going to be that different, but rather than talking so many different topics, we're going to kind of keep it to movies and TV. You might hear us talk about comic books sometimes. You might hear us, mention video games in there. Talking about a Spider-Man sequel is going to tie in pretty well to movies and TV, but for the most part, we're going to keep it movies and TV, and we're excited to do that. Kind of keep it focused on things that we all do, and yeah. So with that said, we're going to get into Fab or Flub like usual. If you don't know what Fab or Flub is, it's a segment where we discuss some headlines and we determine. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Whether or not they are fabulous or
flubulous.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of them this week. And first off, let's get in there with a doozy for DC. Ben Affleck has confirmed he is no longer going to play the Batman. He's done. Thoughts?
Lame.
Concerns?
Lame.
So lame translates to flub.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
No.
As a Peon 2.5, I would expect you to know this.
Okay, so first of all, it's been a long time since I recorded an episode. So when was the last episode I recorded? About October. So my wife and I, mostly my wife, but my wife and I recently had a baby. So I've taken off some time to focus on that. So I've been away. So I'm just now getting back into things. So my terminology might be a bit rusty. So, but yes, it's a giant flub because I may be one of the few that actually liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
I don't think it's a few. I think most people liked him as Batman.
Yeah, I think it's overwhelmingly been positive for Ben Affleck.
Well, you got a bunch of the people that don't really, know a lot about the character, that didn't like kind of the violence that Ben Affleck's Batman had compared to some of the other Batmans previously, about the killing people and stuff like that. Like, to me, he was the one bright spot of Snyder's universe. And Max, you and I have spoken ad nauseum about this, but I love Ben Affleck as Batman. But there's very little that I don't like Ben Affleck in. So recently, ever since like Argo and The Town and things like that. But I thought he did great. I loved seeing this kind of brooding Batman that went out and did whatever it takes to, save the day or whatever it could be. Like, and I thought he and Henry Cavill actually played really well off of each other.
It's really weird hearing you say positive things about Batman v Superman.
That movie sucked. But he was the best part of that movie. The scene where they come into that halfway house or whatever, and he's up in the corner and he lunges on.
That was cool.
Oh, it was friggin' awesome, dude. Like, I loved everything about it. Now, Batman versus Superman had its dumb parts, just like most of the Snyder movies. But for the most part, like he was a bright point.
The
Yeah.
Dark Knight is the bright point, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's true, man. Ben Affleck, he did a great job, and I can understand why so many people disliked the Snyder films, but if he got one thing right, it's the Batman costume, and I think the Batman casting. I was a little worried when I heard Ben Affleck was going to be Batman too. I thought it was a weird choice. You know, he's come a long way in recent years to where people have liked him, but I still was like, Ben Affleck, that's a weird choice. But he turned out great. He looked amazing. I mean, in Batman v Superman, especially, because I don't think he looked as good in Justice League. I thought his costume was kind of weird. But in Batman v Superman, that costume is epic. Like, I recently replayed the Batman Arkham games, and I was playing Arkham Knight, which one of the skins is that Batman v Superman skin, and I refused to change it the entire time I was playing because I thought it looked so freaking cool. Like, he just looks awesome.
Yeah.
No nipples or anything on it.
No bat nipples. That was a little disappointing. That would have been hot.
I know. Max loves his bat nipples.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's a major flub. I have a little bit different opinion about Batman versus Superman. Like, I didn't dislike him in that, but I just didn't feel like the writing for Batman was done very well. And so it didn't give him very much range whereas I felt like in Justice League he had more range. He kind of was that brooding Batman in the beginning where he had that really cool scene fighting the bug. You know, he was he was drawing the bug by scaring the villain. He's like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Your fear," you know. And then
that was a cool scene. That was cool.
And then he switches to like the joking around Batman when he's with the Justice League. So he kind of like had more range as a character, I felt like. Whereas like in Batman vs Superman, he was just like, I'm brooding, mad all the time, and that's it. You know, it was just like one tone the whole movie, whether he was Bruce Wayne or Batman, you know? So in that sense, when I saw him in Justice League, I really liked him as Batman a lot more. And I wanted to see more from him. And his kind of like his reasoning for what he gave, why he's leaving the role, is he wants to give someone else a chance at it. It's like, you didn't give yourself enough of a chance at this role yet. Like, you were just kind of coming into the shoes, I felt like, and now you're leaving.
I think it was a cop out. I think the studio wanted him out, and he's trying to save face. I think that's what it is.
Because people liked him. It's like, why do you want him out when people like him?
Yeah, and to me, he looked more like Batman than Christian Bale. I mean, he was big, he was hulking. He played the billionaire playboy role really well.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was tall.
He played off of everybody in the cast really well, and he got super like thick for that role, dude. Like, that guy looked like he could lift a car, dude. Like he got
awesome. Roided up faux show.
But it's a shame. But you know, I'm kind of excited to see. I think Ben Affleck's calendar is probably going to open up, so maybe we'll get some more movies like Argo and The Town and some of those movies that kind of put him on the map as a very accomplished director. So I think I'm trying to find the silver lining here, but I think that might be it.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree at all, man. So yeah, I didn't actually officially say my vote, but I'm gonna go with a flub on that one. I think it's stupid. But whatever. I agree. I think it's a cop out. Like, he was good. Most people liked him, but I think DC's just going a totally different direction. Justice League tanked. Batman v Superman did well financially, but people didn't like it, which is a big reason why Justice League tanked. And they've got hits in Wonder Woman and Aquaman. So, like we talked about last time, they're doing that Trench movie, which is bullcrap dumb. But
what is this Trench movie?
Yeah, they're doing a movie about the Trench from Aquaman, like just about the Trench. Those monsters that, like, you remember, like near the end of the movie.
Yeah,
they're supposedly doing a movie just about them, which is stupid. But DC announces a movie every other week, so that might get canceled too. But like they're realizing Aquaman and Wonder Woman are good, so I don't know what they're gonna do. Like people like Man of Steel, they like Henry Cavill, but they're not using him. So I have no idea what's going on, other than that we are getting an Aquaman sequel that's confirmed, and Wonder Woman next year. So Shazam looks like it's going to be good too.
I'm just afraid they're going to make people not like Aquaman as much because they're going to get burnt out off of the crappy Trench movie. You know, like I don't see that being any good. And it's just going to be a negative impact on Aquaman's popularity. So
yeah, I hope it gets canceled.
So you know what's funny? Have you guys seen the new Teen Titans movie? The cartoon?
I haven't.
Okay, well, it's actually really funny.
That's what I've heard.
But there's a segment in the movie where the whole movie is basically Robin wanting to get his own movie made, right? But no one will make a movie about Robin because no one wants to see a movie about Robin. In the beginning of the movie, they go to a premiere and they're showing previews for the upcoming superhero movies that are coming up. And Robin's thinking that every movie preview is going to be about him, right? And then it turns out it's not. Like, I think one movie preview is they're making a movie on the Batmobile, and the other one is the Bat utility belt. And there's all these things. And every time it's like, he's like getting his hopes up, like, oh, it's a movie about me. And then it's not, you know? Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny that movie came from DC, Warner Brothers, and they're doing the exact same thing by making a Trench movie.
Yeah.
Like they literally pointed themselves out to why it's stupid, and they're doing it anyways. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense when they aren't moving forward with a Flash movie still, or a Green Lantern Corps movie like they said they were going to do. But they're like, let's do a movie about these stupid monsters that no one cares about. You know? Really?
It's like
that's like doing a movie in Marvel on the like Scrolls or something.
On the Chitauri or whatever. Like,
yeah.
We're going to do a Chitauri movie. Why?
No one wants to see that.
We don't.
Maybe a 15-minute like one shot or something like that. Yeah, but
I miss the one shots.
Yeah,
I miss those.
Well, what's next? I think we beat this to a pulp.
Well, I was gonna say speaking of Marvel, but there's a few Marvel ones. So let's do something else first. And I don't think you'll be able to contribute, Tyler, because you don't watch the show. But The Man in the High Castle has been confirmed for season 4, which is releasing later this year. And they also confirmed it's going to be the last season. They're finishing the show with season 4.
Fab.
I agree. Fab. Are you familiar with the show, Tyler?
I've watched seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, so you're pretty familiar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize you had watched any of it. My bad.
Season 3, I still haven't finished it. Season 3.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah, I got kind of bored in the middle of it. So I'll definitely watch it now that I know that there's one season left and it's ending. But as soon as they start getting a little bit deeper into the mythos, it kind of seems like they don't know exactly what the ending's going to look like. And I hate when you're watching a show and it doesn't seem like they have an end plan. Mm-hmm. Like Lost was like that. You know what I mean? Like
that's how The Walking Dead is now. It
just seems like
wandering aimlessly.
Yeah, it feels like they're getting. I haven't watched any of this season of The Walking Dead.
I've watched the first half, and it's fine. But you know, Rick's gone. Michonne's leaving the show, and Maddie, right? Why am I blank? Dang it.
Maggie,
gosh.
Yeah,
Maggie
she's doing that other show.
Gone. Like, the biggest cast members are all gone. It's like, anyway, that's when we're not talking about Walking Dead, but it's a good example of a show that doesn't have any direction, really, it seems like. They're just continuing to go because they can. And then you have shows like Breaking Bad that had 5 seasons, and they were wonderful. So I'm thinking that The Man in the High Castle is following suit with a show like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it'd be nice that now they know, okay, we have to wrap this all up after next season, and then they can put a nice little bow on it. Mm-hmm. Rather than Lost. I think Lost went for like, 7, 8 seasons, and it should have ended after like season 4 or 5. Like, it was way too long. And then you get to the point where the ending is just kind of lame, like, because they kind of pigeonholed themselves into an ending that that never really had anything to do with the overall span of the show. I mean, Lost, people were upset about that ending. And it just seems like they went in with one thing and then came out with another because they kind of forced themselves to do that. But I don't know. It is what it is. Well, we'll see how this goes. I mean, 4 seasons. I hope next season's awesome because that was a show that I loved. In fact, I want to say last year it made one of my top 5 lists. Really? I went on and on and on about Man in the High Castle. I wrote an article about it on our website, how much I loved it. And this season just bored me to tears.
I didn't find it boring, but I've heard that feedback from others online that they thought it was just kind of meh. Like the showrunner left after season 2, so season 3 is different, but I still really liked it.
Yeah. It got more sci-fi this season, and that's not why I watched that show.
See, but I expected it to get more sci-fi, so I guess that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Because like the premise that they were giving you, I was like, how is this not going to get more sci-fi? And you're right, it did go down the rabbit hole way more, but you haven't even finished the season. Just wait.
Tyler, what do you think?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, even in flat fad, it was even like prevalent in season 2 that they were kind of just like going through the motion on some of the episodes.
Yeah.
And it was just like, let's get back to the story about how, like World War II was changed and how that's affecting the world rather than like, following the Nazi guy going like a drug bender and like stuff like that. It's just kind of like, let's get back on track with the main story and keep that going. And it seemed like they had a hard time doing that. So it seems like they needed to shorten it up in order to stay more quality core, with the core story.
Each episode having some sort of weight to it.
Yeah, exactly. Where, the filler episodes were just not that entertaining.
Yeah.
So
what's next, Maxie?
Whoa. What if I'm not ready? Jeez.
I don't know. I thought we all said our piece, but you're the showrunner today, so.
No, I'm just messing around. I just love that show, and I think 4 seasons is a great place to end it. I think it's really good. Okay, let's get into some Marvel news. We'll start with one that's kind of Marvel, not really, and that is Chris Hemsworth is going to be playing Hulk Hogan in a biopic about Hulk Hogan.
A much more attractive Hulk Hogan than he ever.
Right? I mean, I guess he's got the arms for it. I think it's a real weird choice to pick Chris Hemsworth for that. I kind of lean towards Flub, but that's also just because I don't care to see a Hulk Hogan movie. But now I feel like I have to because I freaking love Chris Hemsworth and will watch pretty much anything he's in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited for Men in Black coming out.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. I actually just saw the trailer for that last week. I just said, I don't know how it went under my radar, but I never saw it. I was like, oh, this looks good.
Well, the girl, I can't remember, but I'll watch anything with her in it too. I think she's
Tessa Thompson, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh, I love her so much.
I don't really like her that much, honestly.
I mean, I think she's fine, but
she's in a show called she's in what's the show on HBO where Westworld.
She's on Westworld? I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous, dude. I don't
know. I thought she was just fine as Valkyrie. I didn't like her in Annihilation, really.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love her.
That's okay. That's all right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know why we need a Hulk Hogan biopic. I mean, the end of the guy's life so far, and I don't want to say it like he's died, but the last couple years have been kind of they've been kind of rocky. I also think it's he is. But I also think it's weird when we're doing biopics for people that haven't died.
Yeah, so you don't like the idea of the Elton John one either?
No. Well, I love Taron Egerton, but I don't know. It just seems weird. Like I just watched Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time last night, and like the fact that he died, and this is somebody that wasn't even. I was 6 when he died, so the most of the story, like I wasn't even born.
Yeah.
And seeing that and knowing that he's not on the, like it made it more real. It made it more I don't want to say informational, but it gave a lot more weight to it because there was
I know what you mean.
There was a firm ending.
Yeah, because like Walk the Line, same idea. I mean, he doesn't die at the end of Walk the Line, but Johnny Cash was already dead. So I get what you mean. It is a little weird, but I think it's fair to say that Elton John is officially good to do a biopic on. He's retired. He's done. He said he's not doing any more music. He's just going to keep doing cameos in movies like Kingsman. So they better put Kingsman in the Elton John biopic.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. But no, I don't know. Like, what if something happens to this guy in his personal life that's like that should be another chapter to the movie? Like, Hulk Hogan's nowhere near dying. Like,
you don't know that.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, he's like what in his early 60s or something like that. Like,
yeah,
the guy could be caught in a scandal in a year from now that would have been awesome for his biopic, you know. But it just it seems weird. It seems weird. It's like
65 years old.
He's 65.
Yeah.
Wait till he's dead, or at least like close to dead. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
Chris Hemsworth will be too old at that point.
True.
Well, the casting of Chris Hemsworth in and of itself is just weird. I mean, Chris Hemsworth has great comedic timing, and I would have never thought that Hulk Hogan was comedic in any way. I mean, it just seems weird. And it's probably Chris Hemsworth just trying to do something different because he's kind of been typecasted as like a humorous hulking guy, you know, like it just,
which is awesome for him though, to be fair, because he was typecast differently, I think, until the last few years. Because the original Thor movies, he really wasn't that funny, and like he had a couple one-liners, some zingers, but nothing crazy. But then Ghostbusters and Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, he's hilarious. Men in Black looks like he's going to be funny in that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think he is trying to like rebrand himself and branch out, because he did drama in Into the Heart of the Sea, and this is going to be, I think, a little bit more drama. But I also have a feeling it's going to be kind of funny because Hulk Hogan's kind of an easy guy to make fun of.
Well, he did do like some comedy acting as well. Like he had that movie with the guy.
Oh yeah, he did Three Ninjas. He was in Three Ninjas.
Remember that?
What?
But
yeah, like when he was a kid.
No, what, Hulk Hogan? Three Ninjas came out when I was a kid.
Yeah,
he was the bad guy.
Hulk Hogan. I thought you were talking about Chris Hemsworth still.
Oh no, are we talking about Hulk Hogan or Chris Hemsworth right now?
Both.
Okay, yeah. So Hulk Hogan was in Three Ninjas, some Attack on High Mountain or something like that. He was the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's done other things since then, but that might be cool to see. I agree with Tyler to maybe see Chris Hemsworth have a part in that movie where Hulk Hogan's trying to like build his movie career.
Yeah.
But the dude's just not that interesting. I find The Rock way more interesting than Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I agree.
Well, I mean, but The Rock is a lot further from dead than Hulk Hogan is.
Oh yeah, no, you wouldn't. But 40 years from now, 40 to 60 years from now, I could see a Rock movie, because that guy's story just so far in his life is fascinating. Like he came from nothing, essentially.
Well, and he even plays himself in that that WWE movie that just came out. It's called Fighting with Your Family or whatever.
Yeah, he's in that? I didn't even realize he was in it.
Well, he's a producer.
Oh, okay.
It's about Paige. I think her name's just Paige. She's a female wrestler, and it's her story.
Oh, so it's about a real story?
Yeah, it's a biopic about another person that's not anywhere near to dying yet.
Oh, weird.
But that one's different because that one's just kind of talking about her youth and how she got into wrestling. There's no like period at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's when you watch Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like there's a point at the end, and nothing happened after this. You know what I mean? Like that girl Paige, like it's showing how she got into wrestling, and then when she gets into wrestling, that's it. You know, it's not gonna or the Walk the Line movie, like there's a period at the end. Like it's but Hulk Hogan, the dude just got out of a controversy like 2 years ago where he had a sex tape come out. Like the dude is still in headlines. I think a year ago or 2 years ago, the WWE like wiped his name from all of their like history. Like they don't make reference to him at all.
He had a racism scandal back in like 2015.
Yeah, that's recent. The dude is still like doing stuff that's noteworthy. And it just seems weird to be. I don't know. It just seems weird. Right. Like if they did a biopic of like Barack Obama, who's not dead yet, I get that because the dude, like you would do it his like rise to presidency and like after presidency, there's nothing really that he's done. Like I understand that.
They did the Dick Cheney one, which I don't know if a biopic is the right word, but like they did that movie. And I think that makes sense as well. He's not dead, but it was about his political career. And he's
but he's retired. Not doing anything anymore. The dude's like
that's what I mean. So
vanished into obscurity, but Hulk Hogan has not.
Yeah. No, I agree. Is there a horse that we can keep beating or
So Hulk Hogan. No, just kidding.
Did you have any more thoughts on it, Tyler?
Well, I was just saying that movie, he did a comedy movie with the guy who plays the Doc on Back to the Future, like a long time ago. Like he was like an alien, and there were a couple of like really huge guys that he would fight that had tiny heads, and they had really high pitched voices and stuff. So he definitely has gotten into comedy and stuff.
I don't even remember that. I don't know.
I remember Christopher Lloyd being in that movie where Christopher Lloyd was an alien. It was called like My Favorite Martian or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then and I can see Chris Hemsworth playing Hulk Hogan. Like I can see him doing that. Just being like the loud, like, oh, you know, like that's basically all Hulk Hogan is. It's like, I'm gonna yell and go, oh, like this, you know, like I can see Chris Hemsworth.
He does that as Thor.
But nobody needs a Hulk Hogan movie. Like that's not something anybody needs. So
no, and people that are close to Hulk Hogan say Chris Hemsworth looks too normal to play Hulk Hogan. Yeah, but I just read.
Yeah, I mean, you can make him look not normal. I mean, look at Bohemian Rhapsody, like those teeth. Holy cow! Like, yeah, like you can do stuff like that.
But,
darn it, man.
I don't know. Did we say Fab or Flub on that one? Like
mine was like Fab and Flub, like Fab on the casting, but Flub on the movie as a movie.
Yeah, I'm down for anything that Chris Hemsworth like just getting roles because he'll get more. But as far as a Hulk Hogan movie, it just seems dumb.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's move on. We got some Marvel news, and that is going to be that Pepper Potts has said that she's no longer going to be doing the MCU. And can I just start off and say fabulous?
Oh, dude. When she showed up at the end of Spider-Man, I was like, what is this chick still doing here? Like, it made no sense. It's like she had a contractual obligation, and Marvel's like, you have to do this. And she's like, fine, give me 2 lines. Like, it was so forgettable. Like
I don't know. Like I don't hate her, but she's so unnecessary. It's just like I don't care that she's leaving the MCU. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think Gwyneth Paltrow can't act her way out of a paper bag. So I mean, she had Shakespeare in Love, and that's about it. She's not anybody noteworthy in my opinion. Like she's just kind of there as Pepper Potts. Like I just hope this doesn't caught like the writing on the wall that Robert Downey Jr. is leaving too. Like, because that would kind of suck.
Would you really be surprised if he does though? I think he's gone.
But I don't want it to. Like, I don't want it to happen.
I feel like it was an extra confirmation that he's going to die. Because Because that would be the main reason that she's not in any Marvel movies anymore, is because she has the connection with Tony. That's the only reason she's in it.
Or she's
tied to Tony.
Or she dies.
She could die, but she's talked about possibly doing future cameos, even if she's not like a real character that has lines and stuff. So I don't think she's gonna die.
So then, you know what's funny is that they say she's leaving the MCU when her last 2 roles, I would kind of say, are cameos.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
She cameoed in Spider-Man Homecoming, and in Infinity War, I don't know, maybe it's a little above a cameo because she had like 2 scenes, but she didn't really do much. So I don't know, whatever.
Well, what was your last? Go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, it's I think that there was something that was pretty important though when Tony was talking about he had a dream that they had a kid, and I forget the kid's name, but that the name of that kid had a significance in Tony's future, which I wasn't super familiar with the comics, but I was reading an article about it, and like apparently they had a kid or somebody had a kid with that name, and there was some kind of future significance with that. So I think there might be something playing out with that, but as to what it is, it wasn't even significant enough for me to catch it. So I think a lot of people are kind of like, who's that? So,
yeah, I didn't even remember they said a name of the kid. But can I just comment, your sweater is wonderful.
Oh, thanks.
Sweet as, what the heck is that?
Sweet as. It's a saying in New Zealand. It's what they like say about everything. It's like, oh, that was sweet as, or like that was awesome as, or like,
really?
Yeah, like so it was cool as.
That's funny. I just thought it was a joke playing off of saying sweet ass or something, but
no, they always get frustrated because that's what Americans think that they're saying.
Yeah.
And it's not.
That's funny. Well, anyway, I think we can all agree she's a forgettable character, and it's all good that she's leaving. Like,
her last major role in the entire universe was Iron Man 3, and it wasn't even that memorable. Wouldn't you say?
It was memorable in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who's ever read my article about that knows how I feel about Iron Man 3, and it is not positive.
It's so dumb. It's like he has this broken piece of like set of armor that he's trying to fix the whole time, and he almost dies because it's not working right. And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, I have 1,000,000 suits of armor." Like,
yeah.
What? Why did that
happen?
And
he keeps jumping into each of them. I'm like, what? That doesn't fit.
Why didn't you just do this earlier? Why are you putzing around with this broken thing of armor? It didn't make any sense.
I agree. Well,
yeah.
A little bit sadder news, Marvel-wise, is that The Punisher and Jessica Jones, not that we're surprised, have officially been canceled at Netflix. I'm going to go ahead and say flub, as I would say for all of these cancellations, because I've loved all of these shows. But that is the final nail in the coffin. All the Marvel shows have been canceled. I guess they haven't officially canceled Defenders, but I mean, it's canceled if all the other characters in Defenders are canceled.
Well, they said a while ago that there's not going to be a Defenders season 2. Like,
did they? Okay.
Before all these cancellations, yeah, just because Defenders was such like a letdown.
It was.
But yeah. I think Tyler should go first this time.
Yeah, well, I have a different answer than Max. I have a fad because personally, I felt like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were kind of subpar. I didn't really like them. I thought that there were some good things about them, for sure. Like some of the acting was real good, but I didn't like the writing a lot. The bad guys were kind of like obviously the villain in season 1 of Jessica Jones was good, but the villains in Luke Cage were not as like compelling to me. I
disagree wholeheartedly.
Season 2, there was that guy, and like the villain in season 2 was cool. I liked his character, but like him just taking that serum, like he was obviously way weaker than Luke Cage. when they were like showing their abilities and stuff, and Luke Cage was showing off like how buff he is. And then all of a sudden, this weaker guy comes in and punches him, and then he's like, "Oh, like that hurt." It's like, no, that guy like was really, really damaged by bullets, and bullets like are like less than mosquitoes to you, you know, like so it just didn't make sense like how this guy was actually fighting him, and then a lot of the things with that like that female politician, I forget her name.
I hate Mariah.
Oh,
I liked her in
Mariah.
season 1, but in season 2, she was just too much.
So annoying,
Yeah,
so annoying. But the guy, I liked the guy that Luke Cage fought. Like his character was cool, but his
Bushmaster was awesome.
Yeah,
and I disagree with you on Bushmaster's powers because Luke Cage's skin is super duper tough, but that doesn't mean that Bushmaster, because his isn't, he's not as strong as Luke Cage.
He's not as strong because okay, so like even if his muscles are as strong, he's not like he would still hurt himself on Luke Cage's face because he didn't have the indestructibility that Luke Cage had, you know. So
I
like,
understand what he's saying. I understand what
he
you're saying.
break himself trying to fight Luke Cage.
What? Lance is agreeing on this? Like, Lance, you're like our Luke Cage fangirl for.
Oh, well, I've told you countless times that season 1 was far better than season 2.
And I agree.
But yeah, I agreed with that too.
I disagree with Tyler saying that Luke Cage's villains aren't memorable, because in my opinion, Cottonmouth was the second most memorable villain on any of the Marvel shows next to Wilson Fisk. Cottonmouth was absolutely fantastic.
I think Cottonmouth was up there.
Yeah,
but
that actor, and his name escapes me right now, but he was in
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, he is fantastic. Cottonmouth was fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, there's a trinity of fantastic villains in those, and it's Wilson Fisk, David Tennant, and Cottonmouth.
I think that actor's good, but I didn't like his character as much. I think he's a great actor.
I loved him. In fact, I was pissed, and spoiler alert, he dies halfway through the season, and
that was stupid.
They put Diamondback in there, and Diamondback sucked. Like
that's why I didn't like Luke Cage season 1 as much as you did, because I agree Cottonmouth was fantastic, and then he dies, and they bring in this piece of junk Diamondback. He was awful. Diamondback was so bad.
Yeah, Diamondback was awful, and I'm glad you don't really see him I don't think you see him at all in season 2.
Yeah, because he was horrible.
But Cottonmouth was fantastic. Like, he was conniving, and he was intelligent, and he was well versed. Like the actor, well written. The actor brought so much range to him. Much like David Tennant, like there were so many different levels to the Purple Man. Like, as far as who he was as a person and why he was doing the things he was doing. And the same with Wilson Fisk. Bushmaster, you start to develop those levels, like those different layers midway through the season when he realized that like what happened to him in his childhood and stuff. So I liked him midway through the season. I did not like him in the beginning.
Oh, I agree.
But Iron Fist, like, no, I don't. Iron Fist, I mean, the dad of what's their names? His brother and sister. You know what I'm talking about? Like, the dad
was great. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he was okay, but he wasn't those other three. Like David Tennant,
for sure.
David Tennant, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Marciano Ali, or however you say his name. They were kind of fantastic. A hard name to say. Yeah. I just read it and I know who it is, but I never really attempt.
I'm pretty sure it's Mahershala Ali, but
he's fantastic, kind of man. So yeah, I disagree with you. Luke Cage was, it's close. It's between the Daredevil season 1 and season 3, and Luke Cage season 1 are my favorite of all the Netflix shows.
Well, I had one other thought about it. So, because I felt like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were a little bit mediocre, and then I liked Iron Fist a little bit more just because I liked the fight scenes in Iron Fist. But because those three kind of were like falling behind, I felt, from Punisher and Daredevil, it made it hard to bring the Defenders together well. And if somebody else can pick up these shows and make the next seasons really work well to where they could make a good Defenders season, I think that'd be awesome. And that's why I think that it's a fad. So.
But the problem is that it's already, so there was an article saying that either FX or Hulu will more than likely be bringing these two shows in. It just depends on which one. They're still going to keep the same showrunners. They're still going to keep the same writers. Like, all the crew is going to continue. What I would like to see is Kevin Feige take complete control.
Yeah, Kevin
Feige. That's the only way you're going to get, like, I think that's the only way you're going to get consistent quality is by giving Kevin Feige complete control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would hope. I don't really want FX to pick it up as much, but I would hope Hulu picks it up. But isn't there a thing where they can't use the characters for 2 years?
2 years, yeah. Which Disney has a lot of money, so they could buy Netflix out of that agreement if they wanted to, or they could just wait the 2 years. Because if you think about it, well, if you think about it, that's what we've been waiting now. It's not like we get Jessica Jones 2018 and then Jessica Jones 2019.
Yeah, and it doesn't. And from my understanding, they can't like be on screen for 2 years. So like you could still be filming it before that 2 years is up, and then boom, 2 years. Here's the shows.
Well, you got to think. So Iron Fist played what last?
It was last
August,
year,
right?
Yeah,
it was August that it came out.
Something like that. Luke Cage was like June, I think, for season.
So that means not this August, but the following August, you could have Iron Fist come out. That could be your first one. And then Daredevil came out in November, I think.
Oh, so yeah, because it would be from when they canceled that show.
Yeah, okay. So not this November, or not this coming one, but the next one, you could have another Daredevil show. So it's really not that far.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
You know? And Runaways, I waited about 2 years. I would love for Hulu to pick it up because they already have Runaways. It just makes sense. I wish that Hulu also had Cloak and Dagger. Like, it doesn't make any sense why it's on Freeform. But just put it all under one roof, or just put it on Disney Plus.
I'd like to see it on Disney Plus.
But I don't know if they're going to do that because I'm not sure if Disney Plus is going to be just kid oriented. I don't know if they're going to have a PG-13 ceiling, whereas Hulu you can go above that.
Yeah, they might, because I mean the Punisher.
Oh, it's too much.
So violent.
But this season 2 of Punisher was so good. I loved it so much.
I loved it until the last episode.
Really?
I thought the last episode was really anticlimactic.
What? Why didn't you like about it?
Spoil it. Hey, we're spoiling this. Mute your speakers.
So Punisher season 2 was so good. You had Billy Russo that was amazing, and then you had the Preacher who was also amazing, and they were building these characters up the entire time. And I was like, okay, they're going to intersect at some point. And then you get to the last episode, they never really intersect. I didn't mind how Billy Russo goes out. Like, I thought that was kind of cool, but the fact that there was no intersection and just kind of, I don't know, it just felt kind of anticlimactic how it all went down.
See, I realized halfway through the season that they were never going to intersect.
Yeah.
Because
I think that was weird. He was divided on two fronts the entire time.
That's what makes this season so awesome, is that he's trying to maintain house over here and then maintain another house over here without having those two worlds collide. And sometimes they do with the girl and other people, like they'll collide from time to time, but he's trying to keep these two things separate. And I think that's what speaks to the John Barenthal's range and everything like that. Like, I thought it was fantastic. I didn't need the Preacher and Billy Russo to cross paths. I thought it was so good.
Pulling up my review here, see what else I had to say about it.
Here's what I want to see though, like, because I felt like they focused a lot on the Punisher fighting like government and special forces guys, and I want him to go back to like killing gangsters like he did in Daredevil, you know? Like just get out there, like be the crazy man with the guns and like kill.
Well, that's the best scene of that season is when he goes into that gym.
Yeah.
And he fights all those Russians.
That was pretty sweet.
Gosh, dude. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like he's going and fighting those gangsters. It's one of the best scenes of of season 2. It's fantastic. But
I'm actually really glad we're talking about this because I realized we didn't ever talk about Punisher season 2 when it came out. So let's keep this rolling, bro.
So we're the reason Netflix canceled it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, like I think it was that I just skimmed over my review again. So I was like, what were my other thoughts when it first came out? It was literally just that. I didn't like the division and there not being any like payoff together, but I did love it. Like Dr. Dumont and her craziness. Like you take this psychologist, and I find it extra fascinating because my wife's getting a master's degree in social work and like psychology type stuff. So like we have discussions about psychological things a lot because of it. And I found it so fascinating that you take this psychiatrist from trying to help others to then she's like literally helping this guy murder people, and she just goes nuts, you know. I really liked it.
Well, she was almost kind of Harley Quinn.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the same thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, right. But she doesn't go as crazy, but she's kind of Harley Quinn. And I think that they had plans for her because that's the girl from Supergirl, isn't it?
Yeah, she was the fiance of Alex, yeah.
But I think they have plans for her in the future because she didn't die when she jumps out that window.
Yeah.
So I think
and that was a really interesting callback too, because her dad died that way.
Brother.
So then for her brother, it was her brother, not her dad.
Yeah.
Oh, or her dad like killed the brother, right, or something like that.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway.
I don't remember anything about the dad. The brother falls out a window.
Okay.
But I don't think it had anything.
I knew there was a callback to the family.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah, and it shows like her fear of heights often throughout the show, like when she tries to get up to the window and like defeat her fear of heights, and she starts freaking out and everything. I just thought she was fantastic.
She was way better in this.
Way better in that show than I did in Supergirl.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say too.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Supergirl is just a social justice show that is hardly even about a superhero.
It's not. Hey, it's not about a superhero.
Can I bring up something that might not be on your Fab or Flub list?
Sure.
So we're going down.
But we're not done.
Oh, well, talking Punisher. I don't think we're ever going to talk about Alita.
Well, you guys made me realize we didn't ever talk about Punisher season 2, and I really wanted to. So now we are. I'm like, no, let's not stop yet. I'm enjoying
let's just film an episode next week, and we'll talk about Alita.
We'll get there. I mean, we've only been going for like what, 40 minutes or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I guess we don't need to talk about Punisher too much more, but I just found the psychology of it all really fascinating, and how Billy went from like this extreme trauma to then, rediscovering his memory. And I like those kinds of stories, like the Bourne Identity and stuff like that, and how he just goes ham. I wish that his face was a little bit more messed up, but not that big of a deal. What did you guys think of John Pilgrim though? Because I kind of think he was a little underdeveloped. Or am I totally off? I
loved it, and it's mainly because that actor I saw in Shooter with Ryan Phillippe, which is a fantastic show. Okay. I'm not sure what network it's on, but USA, he played a similar role in Shooter, and he was so awesome. So I felt like I kind of like got a backstory without getting a backstory, because it seems like they're the same person.
Like I really liked the character, but like, we get a little background on him because we find out that he was a gangster before, and then he turned to religion and everything, and then he became like hardcore. Like it was very much an alt-right type thing. Felt like the Punisher had a bit of an agenda too, but it wasn't as in your face as like a Supergirl. But I feel like we didn't get a ton of backstory on him. I liked the character. Maybe we didn't need the backstory, but I kind of felt like it would have been nice to get a little more backstory on him.
And I think that's what's tough is that Netflix. I think that that show could have used a couple more episodes. Netflix really was putting their thumb down on Marvel television to only do 13 episodes, and I think it could have used 14 or 15 episodes to maybe touch on Pilgrim a little bit more. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be better now that maybe it'll be better now that Disney will have more control if it's on FX or Hulu or Disney Plus or something like that. But I don't know. Well, I thought the season was fantastic. So
yeah, but I think that's something that the Netflix Marvel shows haven't done in some of them. Like they could have
character development.
Yeah, not just character development, but specifically the villain's character development. Because if you look at the Defenders, I feel like one of the major things that was wrong with Defenders was they did not give nearly enough background on the Hand. I felt like they could have had a good, solid couple of episodes where they actually showed Kunlun and what happened there and what happened with the Hand and how they got kicked out and how all that went down. And that would have made the villains way more compelling. And because there was a lack of a sense of urgency as to why they were fighting the Hand, and like why it was so important. And
I don't know. I think they gave a lot of that in season 2 of Daredevil and then Iron Fist. But I do agree they could have showed more about why, like what happened with Kunlun. But I think the Hand had a ton of development. I don't know. I think Sigourney Weaver's character was like weird. She was really cool.
When they killed her, I'm like, why would you hire such a big actress to play that role and only have her in 5 episodes?
Yeah, and then Elektra ends up being the villain. That was stupid.
It made no sense to me whatsoever. And then we didn't even see Elektra in Daredevil season 3. So,
well, they kept it that she was dead.
It's just weird.
And that's part of my point, though, Max. Is like, so Elektra's the Black Sky, right? And so we've talked up the Black Sky a lot in Daredevil and the Hand in general in Iron Fist. But do we even really know what the Black Sky is still? I mean, we don't really know. It's just like it's a weapon, but we don't really know much about like what is Black Sky. We don't know, we didn't have like a real like personal connection with most of the villains. There was the one guy who was just the Asian girl's trainer. What's her name? From Iron Fist.
Christine Wu, isn't that her name?
Yeah. I can't remember, but her her connection with him made that personal. But outside of that, like we didn't really have like a personal connection. I felt like with the villains, and then we just were like, "What's the Black Sky?" You never explained it.
Well, you're absolutely right in that regard. Yeah.
Oh yeah, their character development. I think the Punisher and Daredevil have done it the best.
I think Jessica Jones season 1 too, though.
Jessica Jones and David Tennant got a lot of like there was the whole season. It seemed like it was all about their past.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of things are rushed. I mean,
man, I'm realizing we could literally do an entire episode just talking about all the Netflix shows. So maybe we should move on because I'm like, oh man, I want to talk about Jessica Jones season 2 now.
Well, no. There was something. So we said something briefly about Supergirl, and I was just reading that it's almost a surety that Arrow and Legends are going to be canceled.
I think right now that's just a rumor.
I read that it's like 95% going to happen.
Like after next season is what.
So all we will have is the Flash and Black Lightning, but that doesn't really count. And Supergirl, I heard might get canceled as well. But Arrow and Legends is almost assured.
I think Arrow, that would be okay. And Legends, I think, sucks, so I don't care. But Arrow, I mean, they're on season 7, so they'd get 8 seasons. I think that'd be fine.
That's a good run, honestly.
Yeah. But you're right. That would be weird then. That would just be the Flash because they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths next year. And that's going to be cool because you have all these characters. But yeah, then you'd have this massive, cool crossover, and then the next season, what's the crossover going to be? Supergirl and the Flash?
Well, they're doing it next season?
That's what I understand is Crisis on Infinite Earths is next season.
Well, it sounds like there's not going to be an Arrow next season.
No, they've already confirmed Arrow's being renewed for next season.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
The article that I was reading said that Arrow will be canceled after next season and Legends. All the CW shows have been renewed for next year. But the rumor is that Legends and Arrow will be canceled after their next seasons, after Crisis on Infinite Earths happens.
I feel like
I think just cancel them all.
Yeah, I feel like okay,
I'm done with that universe too.
Yeah, I mean, but you could cancel Legends and you could still keep the other 3. But if you cancel any of Flash, Supergirl, or Arrow, you need to cancel all of them. You know.
Well, see, I think Supergirl could get canceled and nobody would miss it because they've even put it in a different universe.
Yeah, it's a different Earth. Yeah,
she doesn't like. It makes no sense. They had the opportunity through the first crossover event they did to undo all this bull crap about Supergirl being in one universe and the Flash and Arrow being in another. They had the opportunity to fix it and they didn't. Yeah. And it like that's what pisses me off about it, is that it's so many missed opportunities.
And they have the opportunity to do that again with Crisis, but I don't know that they will.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I think Melissa Benoist is awesome as Supergirl.
I agree.
I think everybody's wonderfully casted, except for White Canary. I can't stand that girl.
Oh, I hate her.
It always looks like she's smelling something foul in the other room. I'm like, what are you smelling? Like, did Amel just fart next to you? Like, what's going on, dude? Like, but it always looks like she's smelling something bad.
Katie Lotz is her name. Yeah, I don't like her either. And I actually think Laurel's not that great anymore either. I thought Laurel was good in the first season, and then after that wasn't a big fan. But yeah, for the most part, it's cast really well.
Well, when they got rid of the kid from Prison Break, I don't remember, Captain Cold, and Rip wasn't running the ship anymore, I didn't even watch last season, and Constantine was on it.
I didn't either. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I don't even know when they're on. Is Supergirl on Sundays?
Yeah.
That's where shows go to die.
That's what I was just going to say.
Like shows, why is CW playing shows on Sunday? Like that's when Seventh Heaven used to play, because it was all about like church. You know? Like, why is Supergirl on Sundays? It makes no sense. No, the only thing of worthwhile that CW has on it right now is Supernatural. I mean, it just got renewed, and it's their most highly viewed show. But they have this other one that's a sequel to Vampire Diaries that's awful.
Rain, I think, is what it's called.
Legacy.
No, Rain, something else. Okay.
Rain got canceled. That was their Game of Thrones ripoff.
Oh, was it?
And then I haven't seen the 100, so I don't know what's going on with that.
People seem to like it, but it's one of those shows where like everything always goes wrong, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to watch.
I really liked the 100. Anna and I loved it because it's seems like it's actually trying. Like the other ones don't seem like they're trying anymore. Like they're just going to come up with the same formula over and over again.
So, what do we think then? Fab or Flub on Legends and Arrow potentially getting canceled after next season?
Fab.
Legends should have never happened.
I agree. I thought the first season was okay, but I was still like, this is just kind of dumb. And I was really disappointed when Adam left Arrow. I thought he was a cool addition to the show. And they took some of these really cool supporting characters and put them on another show, and then they couldn't be on the show they were on originally. And
are you talking about Brandon Routh?
Yeah, I liked him on Arrow. I thought he was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they changed his character. Like, so much. When he moved over to Legends, he became this, like, bumbling idiot. Whereas in Arrow, he was like this super smart, like super achieving billionaire, you know?
Yeah,
he was very much like Oliver Queen was in Smallville. Like he was just very kind of like poised and everything. Right. And now he's like cracking jokes and stuff. Yeah, I agree. He changed completely.
And he's not confident at all. Like he used to be like Mr. Confidence, you know, like I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Well, Legends did that to all of them. Captain Cold and Heatwave went over. Was it Heatwave? Is that what his name is?
Yeah, I think so.
And all of a sudden they're like fighting for good and stuff. Like it made no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know. Yeah. They should take all these shows, put them on DC's streaming network, and do 10-episode seasons where something happens in every episode, because these shows suffer when they do these CW filler episodes. Like CW is notorious for that. And even Smallville, which is my favorite show, does that from time to time. Like they had the Scooby-Doo episode, which was a filler episode, which wasn't bad.
Oh,
it was a fun. What did I say?
Smallville.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
Well, Smallville had its filler episodes too.
Oh, it
Yes.
did. It had too
But
many.
Supernatural, they have like these filler episodes, and now they're talking about doing a crossover with Arrow, which I don't know how the hell that's going to work, but that's what they're going to do. And it just seems like these shows suffer with these filler episodes that you just want them to get down to business. Like,
yeah. This, I think, will be the third time that Tyler's been on that we've talked about how I don't like long seasons of television.
Yeah.
some work, like some I get excited about.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. works.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but
Yeah,
Agents
like
of S.H.I.E.L.D. works because one season is like 3 mini seasons.
Yeah.
So the first third of the season, like I think last season, didn't they deal with Hydra in the beginning, and then it was the framework, or no,
That was 2
Hydra.
seasons ago.
Yeah, so it was Hydra, then it was the AIs, and then it was the framework. Like it was like 3 seasons.
Yeah, and it was all like one. Well, it wasn't Hydra, I don't think at all, but that was Ghost Rider in the first part of the season.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And it had like an overarching theme through the whole show, but it still felt like 3 mini seasons that paid off in the end. It was great.
It was fantastically
one of the
written.
best
Agents
seasons of
S.H.I.E.L.D. does
television
not.
ever.
Yeah, it does not get enough love as far as all the superhero shows are concerned.
And this is its last season, right? They've confirmed this is the last season that's coming up after Endgame comes out.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they said that.
I hope not, because that.
Well, the problem was that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started off so slow. Like the first season wasn't that good, and that made people not really like it. And it only like the hardcore, I feel like fans really stuck through to see it become better.
It got so good. That season with Ghost Rider and the framework and everything was so good. Like
Yeah.
it was.
Oh yeah.
It was
It was phenomenal. And it has some of the most rich characters that I've ever seen in any of the Marvel shows, either like Fitzsimmons and Daisy. Like I love them.
Oh yeah.
Mac, I could whatever.
Yeah.
And
I like him,
like
but yeah.
I don't care. But Fitzsimmons and Daisy, like I would love to see them in the movies.
Yeah.
Except for she needs to go by Sky again.
I like Daisy.
But just put him with Nick Fury, like Maria Hill, Daisy, Fitzsimmons, Nick Fury, like make that like a team, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
no,
guys, it's 9:20. We have not talked about Alita at all.
I know. And I was about to start talking about how Doom Patrol's awesome, so we'll leave that for another time. All right, well let's wrap up Fabri Flub and let's get into talking about Alita Battle Angel then. So
hold on, I have not heard if we are doing a spoiler-free talk about Alita or not.
We spoil the crap out of stuff here.
So here's my thought. I listened to another show and I like how they do this. If you guys don't want to do this, that's fine. But my thought is we'll do a quick say our thoughts without spoilers, and then we'll say, all right, guys, spoilers for the rest of the show, and go from there. You guys cool with doing that?
Yeah.
I'm not really good at giving reviews without spoiling stuff, so I'll try really hard.
We'll have you go last, and we'll be like,
we'll keep the non-spoiler very brief anyway. So essentially, what I'm going to say non-spoilery is I thought the special effects were amazing to the point where they could get awards for them. I thought the action was also incredible. I thought the directing, the screen, like the way it was shot, the cinematography was so good. But I had a couple issues with it, and we'll go into more detail. The love story was absolute trash. It was garbage. And the world was just generic. Like, I just found it kind of reminded me of Elysium. The world was like Elysium-ish, but a little different. And I can't say enough bad things about the love story. It was barely better than Twilight.
They kind of remind me of like Fifth Element and stuff, like the way the world is kind of like post-apocalyptic, but with like futuristic vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
I feel like it had a lot of undertones of a lot of other shows. Like it was like this was very much like this show, and there wasn't like a lot of. There was some uniqueness to it, but there was a lot of like pulling from other things, I felt like.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was borrowing from other stuff. Tyler, what did you think though?
I really liked it. I didn't think the love story was as bad as what Max is saying, but there were definitely some awkward things about it. But the CGI was great. Here's what my thought about it was, because a lot of people going into a movie that has so much CGI are really put off by that. But Alita did it very well. There were a couple of times where it was a little bit weird. Like at the beginning, she kind of like eats a burrito, and the burrito like stretches like in a cartoon. I'm like, what's up with that burrito? That's weird. But then like the only thing that I thought that they didn't do super well with is the motorball game. It looked great, but it looked like a video game. Whereas the rest of the movie, it was like the robot or the cyborgs. They looked like they were synthetic beings, but they looked more real. Whereas when I watched Motorball, it looked like they were playing a video game. And so that part wasn't as cohesive to the rest of the movie, I didn't feel like, but the scenes were still really cool. So
I agree with you, Tyler. When I was watching the Motorball scenes, I got a heavy, the scene in Ready Player One when they're racing and they go under the thing and it's like the cars are running into each other and stuff, like it's the first puzzle or whatever. It looked very much like that, but the difference is that Ready Player One, it's supposed to look like a video game,
right? Exactly. Yeah,
like they looked like very similar. Like I got, not from the story or anything, just from the look and feel of the movie, I got very firm callbacks to Ready Player One.
Yeah. There were a lot of things that were like Ready Player One, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like Ready Player One was really successful. So let's try to like duplicate it a little bit. Like it did feel like that. But I thought the story was very well thought out. It's based off a manga comic book, I believe.
Yeah, from what I've heard from people that have read it, they said it was pretty faithful.
Yeah,
it was. I thought the story was really in depth. Like even though they pulled from a lot of different things, the way that it all came together and the way that they told the story, with flashbacks and with bringing about Alita's character and her developing who she was done super, super well. So.
Yeah, I agreed, and I thought Chris Christopherson, is that who that is?
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz. Who's Chris Christopherson? That's another actor. I got him confused. I thought both of them were really done very well. I thought Jennifer Connelly's character, it seems like she kind of came out of nowhere and then was gone almost as quick.
Yeah, she wasn't that great.
No spoilers.
Yeah, it just felt.
Well, if you're ready, we can move on to spoilers now. If you guys want, I'm down.
All right.
Okay.
So.
All right. So this is your spoiler warning. Goodbye if you don't want them.
So can I just say how absolutely pissed off I was that nobody warned me that it just ends in the middle of the movie?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be so cliffhanger. I thought it was going to be a one movie like resolution.
So they show Edward Norton's face and she's looking up at him and then it ends. And I literally turned to my wife and I was like, what the I was pissed, dude, because I felt like I got ripped off. Like Anna's like, hey, we've been in here for over 2 hours. And this movie doesn't seem anywhere near ending. And I'm like, no, it'll end. Like, and then it doesn't.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, whoa. Are they gonna like add more time to this movie to resolve this? Because if they just end this conflict that they just like brought to us, that's gonna be real fast and real rushed. And then they ended it, which was a little disappointing, but at the same time I was like, well, I'm glad we at least didn't get a rushed fourth act.
Well, it just seems like, and we're spoiling, right? So
yeah.
Her boyfriend dies. Right,
yeah.
Gets the mechanical suit. He's in the mechanical suit for a grand total of like 5 minutes, and he falls and dies. Right from that spiral thing. And then, well, he didn't bug me as much as he bugged you, but he falls and dies. And I thought it was a really like emotional scene, you know, and
it was cliffhanger.
Next thing I know, it goes 6 months later, and she's like leading motorball and is about to win, and she's about to go up. I'm like, what the, like, I don't know, dude. It just, well, the pace got really ruined in the last act of the movie. Like it bugged me completely. Like from the point where the bounty hunter kills the friend of that guy, and then she cuts off her boyfriend's head to become a robot. It just felt like all that like happened really quick. Like, I don't know, but there were some amazing scenes in there. Like when they were fighting underground and she gets her body all torn up and cut up and everything. Oh yeah. From that was so awesome.
She breaks her arm off and that guy's eye is like, F you, dude. That was awesome.
It was awesome.
That was amazing, dude. The action sequences were fantastic. And by the way, I didn't actually hate that character. I just thought their love story was so rubbish that I was kind of cool with them dying.
Well, it does seem very much like Joaquin Phoenix and her. Like that girl's a robot.
Oh, I didn't see her, but
like her brain is real. Like it's human, right?
Yeah.
But you're basically dating a lamp. Like I don't understand. Like so like you want to date Siri on your phone? Like that's cool, man. Like but like I don't know.
But what if Siri was able to think and it was hot?
Yeah, but we all saw that woman's body like without any clothing on it. There's nothing you could really do with that. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. How is this going to work physically?
I was actually thinking the same thing.
Like, if you want to go lay in bed every night next to a refrigerator, like, have fun. Like, I don't get it, dude. So it was a little far fetched for me. Like,
did you see the '90s cliffhanger movie with Sylvester Stallone?
I didn't.
Oh yeah, long time ago.
Like that scene, the opening scene is like is where he gets like PTSD from like he's climbing and his friend's like girlfriend or wife or whatever falls and he like catches her arm and then she slowly falls off, like her glove comes off and she falls. It was exactly what happened with Alita. It was like the same scene as cliffhanger, like slowly like breaking apart and falling. And
that scene has been done a million times. Like when his like the threading in his elbow was like breaking, I think. And I'm like, oh my gosh, again? Like I'm pretty sure I've seen this 100 times.
Well, they made fun of the cliffhanger movie in the second Ace Ventura when he's climbing across the rope and then he catches the raccoon's hand and then the raccoon falls like.
So, oh yeah, dude, it's a movie trope that's done a million times. Like, there were some points of unoriginality in that movie. As cool as the fight scenes were, and as cool as some of the performances were, again, Marshawn Ali or whatever his name was in it. I felt like he was underused, but. Basically, the best performances come from the special effects, like the giant droid that she fights or whatever, you know, and then the guy that's all metal and has that stupid soul patch.
Yeah.
Thing.
Oh yeah, like, the villain from the Deadpool villain.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's how.
Is that Francis?
Him. Yeah, that's Francis. That's how you recognize them. If you're like, why do I know this guy? That's Francis.
But. Well, I don't know.
How frustrating was it when she kept fighting that guy and she kept just leaving the sword? You're like, pick up the sword, take the sword. Like, why are you not taking this sword? It's like, oh, I have the best sword ever. Okay, well, just have it back. Like, no, take the
sword. Or he kills the dog, right? That guy kills the dog. And so there's a bloody mess on the floor that it never shows. And then she wipes the blood on her face. I'm like, oh my gosh, like corny to the max, dude. Like you're wiping a dead dog's blood on your, like are you about to be like quarterback sneak? Like, what are you doing? Like, I could not figure out. Like,
I didn't mind that. I thought it looked cool.
I don't know, dude. There was just some things that were really corny, and you could tell that James Cameron was just a producer.
Yeah.
Because I think if he would have directed it, that some of those things might have landed on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I think it would have been cooler if she would have just made a couple of lines across her face instead of doing the football thing, like you said. You know, like make it like war paint instead of like
like kind of how Thor does, like with the line across them. But the only reason people do this is, from my understanding, is like with stadium lights and stuff, it kind of hides like the reflection.
Right.
So why did she do that?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
She's a robot. Okay. Think if Siri was in this situation, what would Siri do?
Well, she's got those huge eyes.
And just like passed away. Like
Siri would probably just be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Can you repeat
it?" But dude, once she got that sword, man, that was freaking sick.
It was bad A. She was incredible with that thing.
Yeah. Okay, but here's my thing though. Okay, when she goes and she's like, I'm awesome, I have this cool sword and I'm killing everybody, and then she goes to like save her boyfriend who's climbing up to the city, you know, in the sky, and she jumps over those spikes, right? Like he doesn't make it, she jumps over those spikes. I was looking back on her flashback thinking all of those soldiers died from that thing. Like, why didn't they all just jump over it? Like, like she jumped over it just fine. Like, why didn't they just go, okay, we'll jump? Like, they're all just like, no, shoot it, and then died.
Yeah, it didn't really seem like as formidable as what it intended to be. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
All in all, it was really good, though. Like, can we agree it was a pretty darn good movie?
It
was good, and I want to see the next one, but I wish they would have named it Alita Battle Angel Part 1.
I hope it does well enough to get a sequel.
Well, I was actually looking at that, Max, and it's not doing super well in the US, but apparently it's so big in China that it's gonna like rival Wonder Woman's numbers for viewership. So
I don't care where it does well, so long as it's enough money to get a sequel.
Exactly. I just hope this movie's been in development for like 10 years. So I hope now that this came out that they kind of learn from their mistakes a little bit, and maybe I think the next one will be that much better.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, hey guys, I think that's about it for tonight. I think we're in a good spot. I'm just going to say the love story was garbage. And
you're garbage.
The snowplow's going behind me. Don't know if you guys saw that. Anyway, so let's wrap it up there. We can discuss more, I guess, if we want to on the next episode, and maybe we'll do an episode one of these days where we just talk about the Marvel Netflix shows or something, and memorandum or something. But anyway, and let's do our cool goodbye. So, do you want to start us off, Lance? And I'll
sure. It's been a while since I've been here. I didn't realize we were still doing this with the new format. I gotta. All right. So, first before we do that, should we tell people to go find us on Facebook and all those?
Oh yeah, duh, yeah. Yeah. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, couchcrunchers.com, Instagram. And of course, please leave us a review. If you leave us a review on iTunes or whatever podcast app you use, it helps us kind of bump up in the ratings there and get more people listening to us. We love doing this, and we want to, we don't really do it for being listened to, but we want to bring our joy to others.
Yeah. And then we're going to be at Phoenix Fan Fusion with the AZ NerdNet group in May. So we're going to do some stuff with Absolute Geek and hopefully STS guys if they're still on, and it should be a fun time. I know Tyler's going to be there, not Max, because Max lives in Colorado, but Tyler and I are going to be there making fools of ourselves. So,
and if you're going to leave us a bad review, remember we are IGN.com.
Oh, I can feel the cease and desist coming into my mailbox now. Well, until next time, nerds,
dorks,
geeks,
unite!
All right.